All right. So, James Gunn. I like James Gunn. I don't know. He he directed Guardians of the Galaxy, and that's still one of my favorite MCU movies. So, I think he's hit or miss when it comes to this to directing. Like Guardians 2 was all right. It was nothing like nearly as good as the first one. It had its moments. He has a certain kind of humor that some people love and some people hate, and for me, it's just kind of hit or miss. The same with his Suicide Squad movie, which I thought was much better than the first one. Not so great. Not so great overall. It was funny. It just went way too long. I liked how bizarre it was, but man, I got a little antsy watching that movie. And then Peacemaker, the show that James Gunn wrote and directed following Peacemaker from the Suicide Squad, was often very funny and often just kind of dumb. And again, I guess like so many of his projects, I just don't have a very strong feeling or opinion one way or another about them, other than Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah. So he is now in charge of the DCU, the DC universe, all the new DC projects. Then he's been already a very controversial figure because he's canned Henry Cavill and probably Gal Gadot. Pretty much like almost all of the previous DC stuff is out and a new era is in, and he has announced some of these projects like a new Superman, bunch of new TV shows, including a Waller, like Amanda Waller TV show with the same actor who played Amanda Waller in the Suicide Squad, and so on and so forth. But one thing that people have been talking about is that James Gunn has said he wants parity, not parody, but parity between the movies, the TV shows, and the animation and the video games. As in, he wants the same person who plays Batman or Superman in a movie to play that in a TV show, which is very similar to what we see in Star Wars or the MCU in Marvel, right? You have the same actors who, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, both those actors in the TV show were the same as in the movies, right? And on this level, I totally agree with him. That makes sense. It gets a little confusing over at DC when you've got two versions of the Flash, two versions of this, two versions of that. Some stuff on the CW, some stuff in the movies, and it all gets a little convoluted. And you add into that the Gotham stuff and, different Batmans. And there's still going to be that. The Batman 2 is going to be set, it's going to be in the DC Elseworlds file folder over here. There's going to be, the sequel to Joker. There's going to be stuff outside of the DCU still. And so there still won't be 100% parity. But he's looking to unify things a little bit more coherently. And that's a good thing. I mean, if you're going to make an extended universe, you should have some consistency across shows and movies. But where James Gunn has lost his damn mind is in the notion that you can do that with animated shows and video games. It's absolutely preposterous to think that across all the animated shows and video games that come out of DC, that you're going to get movie stars like Robert Pattinson, or whoever ends up playing Superman or whatever, whoever plays these characters in the movies and in these big TV shows. It's absolutely preposterous to think that they will also voice them in animated shows and video games, and that somehow you can make all those things linked with the same actors. In rare occasions, I could see this happening with some video games. Like, for instance, if Lucasfilm ever decides that they want to bring Cal Kestis from Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order into a live-action TV show, you already have the actor right there. He looks like him, the character looks like the actor. He's voiced by that actor. That actor has done, Shameless and Gotham and other things. He could easily just move right from that video game role directly into a TV show. But the other direction is where things get tricky. You're not going to get whatever big movie star is playing Superman to also voice Superman in the video game and in all the animated movies. And you're going to lose some really good voice acting talent that does not deserve to be booted from these roles just because they're not playing those roles in the shows and movies. Another good example of Lucasfilm actually is you've got Bo-Katan, played by Katie Sackhouse. Am I saying her right? Anyways, the actress who plays Bo-Katan in the animated Star Wars stuff ended up playing the same character in the live action Mandalorian show. But that's is not always going to work. The people who voice these roles don't always look the part like she does. She's perfect for the role, right? But some of these voice actors are going to be too old, or they're just not going to have the physical characteristics necessary. It also means that you're going to what if you have you have a racial issue? What if you have a white character but the voice actor's black? Now you're going to get rid of the black voice actor because you need to have this white. That's going to ruffle some feathers, right? It's just not feasible. It's not doable. It's not practical. And expecting to have all of these parts there's a lot of DC animation. There's a lot of Batman and Superman movies, different full feature length animated movies that don't go to the theaters, but that are full blown movies. And there's lots of shows like Harley Quinn. The actor who plays Harley Quinn in the shows is not the same one who plays in the movies, obviously. Are we just getting rid of her and we're going to try to get Margot Robbie to play that part now? Like in her busy movie schedule, she's just going to sit down and record 20 episodes of animated TV? I don't think so. So now I think you could still have some plot parody. Like you could say, I want this video game and its story to line up. Maybe not to not like to be the same as the movie, but to have continuations of the stories and the plot that was in that movie. If there's a villain in the video game, you make them look like the villain in the movie. You could do that. Is it necessary? Does it fulfill? Is there a point? I don't think so. I think that it's good. It's as much as I do think that there's something exciting about these cinematic universes, Marvel, DC. I think it's also cool when you can have more variety, right? It's great that we have stuff like the Batman, even though that movie was way too freaking long. It's great that we have stuff like Joker, which was so different from anything else in the DC at the time, the DC extended universe. In a world where we just have these extended universes, we don't have the Christopher Nolan Dark Knight trilogy. We don't get that. And I just think it's good. They're not going to. There's no way they're going to line everything up with the comics. Right? That's never going to happen. So why do you need to do this with the games? Why do you need to do this with animation? I understand live action shows, live action movies, all being connected with the same actors. In this day and age of TV and streaming and everything else, makes total sense. It's doable. Clearly, it's doable. We've seen that with the Disney Plus shows like Loki and WandaVision. Yes, you can do that. You can use those actors in those shows, and that can be very effective. But really, really take a step back and think about how impractical and foolish and unfair doing this would be for everyone involved in making these games, making these animated shows. It would make it so much harder, and it would punish so many great voice actors. It would be, and it's just unreasonable to think that these movie stars would have the time or inclination to do that much voice work, which is a whole nother ballgame. Yes, often you'll see these actors, they'll show up for Frozen, for some big Disney movie, right? They'll show up for these big things, but they're not going to show up for 4 seasons, 20 episode seasons to do voice work. It's not going to happen. So bury that shit, James. You're out your damn mind, and you need to reconsider and think this through. All right, let me know what you think about all of that down in the comments, and subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'm trying to get, look, we're almost to 12,000 subscribers, and I'm trying to get to 100,000. And that's a long ways to go, but we can do it if you subscribe. Thank you. Peace.